I am Dire Wolf, and this is Wolf Reports. Yesterday, on 9 June 2017, the people of the United Kingdom went to the polls and voted in a referendum election, which had been requested by Theresa May and the Conservative Party. They did this to increase their seats and power in Parliament, which among other things would have helped them better implement Brexit. However, they did not get the outcome they were looking for, due entirely to Theresa May's mismanagement of her campaign and completely ridiculous manifesto. 1 month prior to the vote, the Conservative Party was on track to win big. Around this time, Theresa May and the Conservative Party made a crucial mistake, when they fooled themselves to believe that the voters were voting for them for any other reason than their national security policy. Their distraction with nonsense and contentious social issues cost them big. Though the Conservative Party still has more seats in Parliament, they lost their majority. The final outcome was 318 for the Conservative Party, which is a loss of 12 seats, and 261 to the Labour Party, which is a gain of 31 seats. It's also worth noting that the UK, which is not traditionally a two-party system, is quickly becoming one, as the support for the Lib Dems and the SNP continued to dwindle. To the people of the United Kingdom, there is no wonder why this election was so important. Their sovereignty, their freedom, and their security as a nation was on the ballot. The British Conservative Party, which is liberal by American standards, was the only party willing to go through with a hard Brexit or a complete separation from the European Union, and the only party willing to take a hard line on national security, and against the mass importation of impoverished people with dangerous ideologies and cultures that are not compatible with the British people or the West. But for any Americans who are watching this that are confused about why this election was so important, please let me explain. First, there's a large movement in government to not completely separate themselves from the European Union. The Socialist Labour would prefer that they remain in the EU, to continue to have their economy crippled by prohibitive tariffs, to continue to delegate their law and the control of their land and waterways to people who do not even live in their country, and to be forced to subsidize failed states within the EU to the tune of billions of euro each year. But most destructive of all is that the EU does not permit them to have a border or control their immigration, which is led to the invasion of their country by jihadis claiming to be refugees. If they do not have a hard Brexit, their borders will remain open, and more terrorists will pour into their country and live among their people. And the problem isn't only that they're letting them in, but once they are here, they're in complete denial about their motivations and the reality of their beliefs. To demonstrate this, understand that there have been 3 terrorist attacks in London in the last 3 months, the most recent of which was only a week ago, where on the London Bridge, 3 terrorists attacked people on the side of the road with a truck and then exited the truck and attacked people in a market with long knives. The response to these attacks from the London mayor, Sadiq Khan, demonstrates the psychological problem facing the UK. He refuses to accept that radical Islam is the cause of the problem. He says terrorist attacks like this are part and parcel or to be expected in large cities, which is incorrect and stupid for multiple reasons. First of which being because these attacks are not common in countries where they do not have high Muslim populations. Second, because you're at war with an enemy whose stated strategy is to send fighters over to your country as refugees. These are not random, organic acts of violence from your own populace. These are well-organized, planned, and directed acts of war, and the religion that motivates them is used as a brainwashing tool to control them and to recruit more fighters. Even the moderates among them want the destruction of Western culture and the creation of a Muslim nation within the UK. And Sadiq Khan, the mayor of one of the most important cities in the UK, is in complete denial, or at worst, in complete support. After attacks like these, instead of cracking down on radical Islam, he cracks down on anti-Muslim speech. In the UK, in the last 3 months, more people have been arrested for anti-Islam speech than have been arrested for being terrorists, because the leaders in the UK, like Sadiq Khan, care more about protecting the belief system of the terrorist than they do about catching the terrorists. They will put someone in jail for making negative comments about Islam, but they won't put someone in jail who says that they're a terrorist, or someone who goes on national television and says that they support ISIS.
The black flag of Islam will one day fly high over 10 Downing Street.
This election was important because it was one more chance for the UK to pick people who will actually care about their national security and will actually protect their people. Not like Sadiq Khan, who insists that Islam is compatible with Western culture.
Play into the so-called ISIS and Daesh narrative that Western liberal values are incompatible with Islam is ignorant.
Despite all the evidence, despite honor killings, terrorist attacks, violence, riots, and rape gangs. Despite their devaluing of women, their hatred of gay people, and 1,500 years of jihad, he would still rather throw someone like me in jail for pointing out it is the belief system of the refugees that are invading your country that is causing the problem, rather than addressing the actual terrorists who are invading their country. Radical Islamic terrorism should not become the norm. It only becomes the norm when you accept it. Going on business as usual and ignoring you have a problem is accepting it. If you ignore the cancerous tumor in your culture, it will not go away, it will slowly destroy you. A radical, dangerous, violent ideology is the cancerous tumor, and it can only be destroyed by removing it. All of it. If you do not destroy all of it, and you do not take action, it will destroy you. In this election, the UK had a choice to make. A vote for the Conservative Party was a call to the surgeon to schedule to have the tumor removed. And a vote for Labour was a vote to put your head in the sand and let the cancerous tumor slowly kill you. The result of this election tells me this. Many of the people of the UK have a long way to go before they come to terms with the fact of what they need to do to save their own country. And this means there's going to be a lot more suffering and needless loss of life before they come to that realization. I just hope by the time they realize what they must do to save their country, that it is not too late. And that the great people and nation of the United Kingdom don't have their culture and economy so destroyed that it begins to resemble the oppressive, violent, and dangerous third world countries that these invaders came from. Direwolf out. If you want to hear Direwolf and Friends streaming live semi-daily on political and social commentary, as well as playing games like Quiplash and Drawful, please check out the YouTube channel Direwolf Radio, which is linked in the description of this video.